So, Nitro, number 133.
Stanley was in attendance, as we noted.
I was there.
It was March 30th, 1998.
Was it all it was cracked up to be?
Yeah, did you have fun?
It was the first. Well, I went to a Glow show when I was a kid at the Odeum, but it was the first non-WWF show I had been to, so a little memorable for me.
How was the Glow show?
I was going to say, tell me more about Glow.
What I remember
as a young boy,
it was pretty awesome. I remember being scared of. Why can't I remember her name?
The Voodoo Lady.
A documentary about her.
The big one.
It was excellent. I still remember it. It was really something to see.
Fair enough.
Several things. A pair of things. Anyway, Nitro. Open with
that match we saw in NWA? Was Wendy Richter there?
Yeah. Oh, for the AWA show? Or?
No, it was the NWA show.
Misty Blue
and
Linda Dallas.
Yes,
right.
I actually went back and watched that based on your guys' recommendation.
Oh, my God. Were we wrong?
No, it was everything you described it to be, and clearly someone from the control room called down and said, let's get this off the TV, like ASAP.
So, Nitro opened with a clip from Thunder where Kevin Nash confronted Hulk Hogan about the leadership of the NWO. And the Nitro Girls danced. Then they showed more from Thunder, including Nash and Hogan getting into a shoving match. And explained then that Randy Savage had vowed to win the world title at the Spring Stampede. Why? Because it was a stepping stone that would make him the leader of the NWO. And once again, Sting and the world title are just punted second, third, fourth down the card.
Dude, I totally forgot he was the champion.
Yes. When you watch this in hindsight, everyone remembers the Starrcade finish, and that sucked. But it's just the start of a months-long campaign to sabotage the guy. It's amazing to watch in hindsight.
This is why it took Sting forever to get into the Hall of Fame.
It is. It's not his fault. He was given no shot. High Voltage versus Mike Enos and Wayne Bloom.
God damn it. Steve Austin just won the WWF title, and this is the first fucking match they put on Nitro the next day. High Dosage and Mike Enos and Wayne Bloom. Get out of here. Can you believe this, Stanley? Did you not walk out at this point?
First match,
I was excited to be there. Full entrances, too. All four guys walking out of the ring with full music and everything.
So the Destruction Crew, or the Beverly Brothers, whatever you want to call them, they did not have the physiques of High Voltage, of course, but they were way bigger. Like, way taller. And they're throwing these dudes around, and it goes about a minute or two, and then the Giant just ambles out, and he chokeslams everyone. It's a double DQ, and Giant cuts a promo saying Roddy Piper had wanted him to get mad, and so he was mad.
Can we talk about Wayne Bloom and how he was supposed to get chokeslammed, and he managed to jump downwards instead of upwards? That was the fucking lamest chokeslam I ever saw in my life because of that guy.
That's a good plan, if you ask me.
When I was a kid, believe it or not, I was actually a fan of the Destruction Crew in the AWA.
Oh, my God.
I barely remember them as the Beverly Brothers. Was he always this terrible?
He's fucking terrible.
His body's totally different. He looks awful. He's been awful in every match he's had.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And those legs.
And he's got the skinniest legs for a big guy you ever saw. Gene Okerlund brings Piper and Giant out for a promo. And they, as we have noted here, they were in Chicago. Piper pays tribute to Harry Carey, who had died just a few weeks prior.
You know what Piper reminds me of? He reminds me of a guy on a message board that thinks he's so clever. And everyone with a brain is thinking, what in the fuck is this guy talking about? But then the other idiots think that he is clever, and they laugh at him. Like, what was Piper talking about in this thing?
What is Piper
He thought he was so
about?
funny and so smart, and I'm like, what are you rambling about? And he would say crazy shit, and the audience would cheer, and I'm like, dude, I'm just like, I must be the guy. This promo sucks.
Piper has ADD.
Fixated on Hogan and Nash being lovers. We finally got our E. Harrison Leslie reference.
That's what
on
he called
Nitro.
him. He explained to everyone, the Disciple, you may have known him as Brutus Beefcake, or
Zodiac,
or the Butcher, or Zodiac, or the Booty Man. His name is E. Harrison Leslie, Piper says.
And then Gene talks about it. The revelation. His name is E. Harrison Leslie.
It's funny, too, because he didn't call him the Booty Man. He called him the Boogie Man.
I see. I don't know. Now,
correct me if I'm wrong. I could have sworn that Roddy said that he was going to wrestle E. Harrison Leslie later, but he ended up wrestling Hogan.
He said Hogan.
Did he say Hogan? Okay.
It can be hard to tell. Don't feel
Yeah, I could never figure out what he's talking about. Stanley, what did you get out of this?
Very much what you got out of it. Piper's a crazy man. I think they were bringing him in thinking it would boost ratings. He kept bringing these guys out. Piper pipered, and I think they needed a mouthpiece to get the Giant over, and they picked Piper, and boy, it was something.
Man, the most amazing thing was Giant just standing there and not reacting to anything the guy said. I couldn't believe it.
It showed Nash confronting Hogan again, and here was the line where Nash asked, "Why does my buddy Six not have a job here anymore?" And you want to know why Scott Hall's not on TV anymore? And Hogan said Six-Pack couldn't cut the mustard with the NWO, and I got no idea where Scott Hall is.
Yeah, where the fuck is Scott Hall?
He probably doesn't know.
They admitted they did not trust each other, and they agreed to team later on Thunder to build trust, and this led to them getting into a shoving match, so it failed.
This show is so stupid when I really watch it. It's like guys, like huge stars are just gone, and nobody knows where they are.
Right.
What?
And then they just kind of refer to them, too, so the fans think, oh, yes, I like that guy. Where is he? And then he just never shows up.
Yeah, there's so much shit going on that you wouldn't even notice these guys were gone if they didn't keep fucking mentioning it and act like they're like missing persons.
Well, Scott Hall could have staggered off somewhere into the woods, and
You know what, Craig? That's concerning.
I understand
Like,
that.
what if we did this goddamn show and, like, Vinny just didn't show up?
I wouldn't show
And
up
it's like,
either.
where's Vinny? Well, I don't know. Let's just do the fucking show.
I understand, Brian.
He's been missing for a week. It's Vinny.
High expectations.
I'm a little unnerved by how much he's been thinking about this.
No, I just thought about it right now.
Saturn versus Fit Finley.
You should be happy. I thought that would be concerning.
That's true, as opposed to a cause for celebration.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not like,
good,
oh,
Vinny's not
hey,
here."
no Vinny, let's get going.
I just drive to Dick's and pull him out of the booth. It's no big
How
deal.
dare you?
Oh, even I didn't make a fat joke.
Saturn versus Fit Finley had one of the best 4-minute matches I ever saw.
This was a slobber knocker.
Oh, this was a mean guy match, and these fuckers were mean.
It was quite good, quite enjoyable.
I'll get the bad news out of the way first. Can Fit Finley get, like, larger gear now that he's changed his body? His fucking tights were so far up his ass.
So, a few notes. Sick Boy in 1998, I believe, debuted the man bun. And Raven was carrying the U.S. belt, but Tony reminded us all that Dallas Page is still the champion. Raven has just stolen the belt. So these motherfuckers just beat the shit out of each other for my amusement for 4 minutes, and I was so happy. It's all simple stuff. Finley was taking the best turnbuckle bumps, just the whips in the turnbuckles. I believe his goal was to snap the ring post in half, and I thought he might succeed at one point. Then he had a soccer ball kick Saturn in the back so hard, and Saturn got up and suplexed him into the air. And finally, Finley missed a corner charge, and Saturn hit the head and arm suplex, hooked the rings of Saturn for the win. This match was fucking awesome. This is everything I want from a pro wrestling match.
Agreed.
We got another one later, too.
Yep.
So Saturn called out Goldberg after the match. Mean Gene shilled the hotline. That was a whole segment.
Yep.
Yep.
And then Scott Hudson did the road report, which was the first time it occurred to me, hey, Lee Marshall hasn't done a road report in months. Like 6 months.
Gosh, we've missed him.
I guess so. Hudson, unlike Lee, did not pretend to be on the phone. He just said, we have a show in Tampa this week.
And no corny, stupid jokes.
Yes, it was much better. Hogan and Bischoff came out for a promo, surrounded by a bunch of B-teamers. Hogan brought E. Harrison Leslie into the foreground. Said Piper tried to expose this man, but the truth is, he is the disciple. He is the leader of all the people who worship the ground I walk on.
God, gee, made Christmas.
Where do you get one of those?
What the fuck?
What do you-
He's the leader of all of the people that worship the ground I walk on.
Yeah. That's what a disciple
God
Yes.
damn, what
He is
a role.
He is the president of the fan club.
Yeah, that's exactly
No, this
it.
is well beyond the president of the fan club. Talks about Piper's sissy little skirt.
Yeah.
These guys are all on and on.
Starts running down Nash, so Nash comes out to defend himself. Hogan says, oh, we didn't mention, one of the other things Piper mentioned in a promo. He booked Sting and Luger versus Nash and a partner of Nash's choosing, but that partner could not be Hulk Hogan. So, Hogan took it one step farther here and said, not only can it not be me, it can't be anyone else I guess he must have said in the ring, but I think he said in the NWO either. And Nash said, Hogan, there's plenty of guys in the NWO waiting to stick a knife in your back, but don't worry about me, I'll shoot you right between the eyes. Hogan said, look, we got a match at the pay-per-view. We got to watch each other's back that night. We will settle our differences after that. And Nash said, I don't need the NWO. I already have a partner. I'll let you try and figure out who it is. Chris Jericho came out for a promo. Dedicated the match to the memory of Dean Malenko. Because you see, Jericho had beaten Malenko with the lion tamer. And Malenko had quit. And in the process had shamed the Malenko family by being a quitter. And at some point in here, Jericho quoted "Mbop." You had Chris Jericho versus Marty Jannetty. Marty's out there in his black singlet with neon trim, no knee pads, and white boots. Looked like a 1980s TV aerobics host.
It was awesome.
Like he was ready to start body shaping. Jericho quickly beat him with a Boston Crab, and then the most historic moment on this show for sure, Jericho cuts a promo where he explains that Dean Malenko claims to know 1,000 holds. In reality, he only knows about 60. But Jericho...
I counted, Jericho adds.
Yes. Jericho knows 1,004 holds and produces a giant stack of dot matrix printer paper.
A list, if you will.
And now, finally, we have a man here on the program tonight that was there live in the building. Jericho reads 5 moves. They go to commercial. He comes back. He's on move 760 or something. Stanley, did he really read all those moves during the break?
Brian, it's been a long 19 years for me, my friend. I believe he named some moves, and then he did make a jump at some point.
Damn
Unfortunately,
it.
he did not name some 600-plus moves in that commercial break.
Now, he did something like this.
I got to rewrite Death of WCW.
He did something like this 2 or 3 months ago on Raw.
Oh, yeah, when he just kept going through the break.
Yeah.
Hey, he does this.
Oh, that's right, yes. Well, it's Jericho. So I actually wrote down the 5 names he mentioned before the break. Hold number 1, arm drag. Hold 2, arm bar.
It's not even alphabetical.
No. Hold 3, the moss-covered 3-handled family cadenza. Hold 4, arm bar. Hold 5, Saskatchewan spinning toe hold. And then hold 6 was also arm bar, and 7 was right-handed punch.
That's not a
And
whole...
Brian and Vinny, you could keep me honest on this. I believe Granny was asked about 1 or 2 of these moves not too long ago, correct?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Well, didn't Saturn actually take the moss-covered thing and make it his move?
I think that, yeah, one of these
Years later.
became an actual move. Like, we thought it was, it was a contest, is a move real or fake?
Yeah.
And she thought that everybody was fucking with her, but all of the moves were real.
Yes. And that was one of them.
Yes.
God, she was so mad at her followers. She was so mad at them. And then it turned out they were all honest.
Her gang.
Her gang.
So
Yeah,
he
she doesn't have to, she has disciples.
They do, in fact, worship the ground she walks on. So Jericho's still going after the break. They cut his mic. Prince Iaukea comes out. Iaukea says, I was trained by Dean Malenko.
Yeah, pause for a second. Prince Iaukea cut a promo.
Yeah.
What?
I'm more
And it
surprised.
wasn't a complete train wreck. Let's give him some credit.
No, he said some words.
Yeah.
I mean,
I understood them.
yeah, they were in English.
I was more stunned he was trained by Dean Malenko.
I thought you said Boris Malenko.
Yeah, maybe he did.
That's even crazier.
Yeah. So he's not going to stand there and let Jericho disrespect... Okay, this actually makes more sense. Because he said, I'm not going to stand here and let you disrespect Malenko's memory. And I thought, is Dean actually dead? What happened?
Right.
But if he was talking about Boris, that makes much more sense. So Jericho takes his list and bails. You get Prince Iaukea versus
He
Glacier.
bails and he says, I still had 200 more. Dave hated that. If you go back and read The Observer, he said it was a train wreck. It was a disaster. And it didn't get over.
The best thing on the show.
It's legendary now.
It is. People can recite it from memory 20 years later. So we got Prince Iaukea versus Glacier
When did Glacier turn heel?
right
Who
now.
fucking cares?
Nobody cared about this match. It was not very good. Glacier took the whole thing, and then Iaukea hit him with a Northern Light suplex and won.
The best part of this match is Tony Schiavone is talking about how the Malenko family must be so proud of Prince Iaukea for having such a great career. Glacier just dropped him right on his head. That's exactly how he said it. And then he got beat. It's like, man, I'll bet Boris Malenko is...
Wait, no, if Iaukea won.
Oh, he did. You're right. Ah, fuck.
Yeah.
Who cares?
It doesn't matter. It was not a big win.
So lame.
The one with the Northern Lights suplex.
Nitro party clips from me, high school.
You all
That's
right?
what I think of this show.
Right, Brian?
Yeah, I'm alive.
El Dandy versus Juventud Guerrera. So they're talking about Hogan and the NWO, and then Larry Zbyszko drops a pearl of wisdom. If you read your history books, he says, everybody who thought they were a ruler of something always wound up getting it from someone they trusted. 3 cheers for the human race.
Wow. He needs to write a book.
Actually, he does.
Actually, he did. Welcome to Larryland.
Oh, there you go.
I got to read it.
So they had a fun lucharific match. Danny took 80% of it, and then he dropped him on his head with a Michinoku driver for the win. He killed Danny with that move.
He spiked him. It was ugly.
Any notes on this show so far? Stanley, from being there live?
Nope. Again, long time ago, but it seemed to move a little quicker when I was there live. I can make
Really?
that one note. Yeah.
Oh.
Chavo Guerrero Jr. versus Kaz Hayashi. He also had a lucharific match, although it's Chavo, so there had to be some long, boring chinlocks in there as well. They tried to pop up Rana, and it got fucked up to a humiliating degree. Chavo fell on his ass, but I think it's actually because Kaz was going to land on his head if they tried the move, and so Chavo fell on his ass to save the guy's life. The match went on for a while, and Chavo won with the Tornado DDT. He returned to the ring to help Kaz to his feet, and then he left. Raven came out for a promo.
Finally!
Yep.
This was a great promo by Raven. I was going to make some Bray Wyatt jokes, but then the guy surprised me and cut a great promo.
Raven addressed
This
complaints.
is why they signed him. That's what I was thinking during the promo. All the time they've wasted with him of just not showing up for some weeks, just hanging out at ringside. This promo is why they signed him.
He made his money here.
Yep.
He said, for 8 months, people have been complaining that I am difficult to understand due to my large vocabulary and my high level of diction.
I don't think that was a problem, but that was a funny line.
So tonight, in essence, he said he's going to dumb it down for everybody. So Dallas Page...
Well, you know, we learned a lesson.
Dumb it down for people?
Dumb it down your damn promos.
Yep.
He said Dallas Page should understand him better than anyone. Page was the one who picked him up after his first stint in rehab. Always good to mention your first stint in rehab.
Look at the guy.
So 4 years ago, Page had been fired by WCW, and Raven was the one who lent him a shoulder to cry on. And every time Page was in a tough spot, Raven was there to have a phone call. But what about him? What about Raven? He spent 3 years in Barbed Wire City, going through tables, getting hit with chairs and frying pans, and Page, with one phone call, could have gotten Raven into WCW, but he hadn't. And why is that? Because he was jealous. He was scared Raven would be a bigger star. And Raven shakes his head and said, the snake warned me about you. He warned me you would turn your back on me, and I should have listened. And then in one of the more random encounters on a show that lived and died on random encounters, Raven versus Buff Bagwell.
Yeah.
Crowd loved Buff. I was intrigued by this, so I was sad only went a minute before Page came in through the crowd and Raven ran for his life. Buff wins by countout, and because it's Buff, this made him as happy as anything else ever did. And I say again, I love Buff Bagwell. Raven escapes, so Page goes to the announce desk to get a promo. He says, yes, it's true, Raven helped me in the past, but I helped Raven too. And Raven, you got a selective memory. And you tell it goes, much like on Raw, it was time for some shooting. He says, Scotty was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, raised in a 20,000 square foot mansion, went to all the best private schools. Me? My mom was divorced with 3 kids before she was 20. I remember nothing before age 8. I bounced back and forth between family members, and through all that, I learned to turn negatives into positives. You, Raven, turned positives into negatives. He talked about Jake, talked about Raven and hardships. He said Raven doesn't know hardships. Hardships is the guy who's got an 8-hour job he hates, and when he's done, he has to go to the other 8-hour job he hates. Or the single moms who are struggling to get by with 2 or 3 kids. Think about those hardships, Raven. And he walked away. It was great.
He's channeling his
Fantastic.
inner
Yep,
Dusty
really
Rhodes
good.
here.
So this is the very
I
first...
remember this feud being good and producing some quality matches in the next coming months.
It's the first positively Page promo.
I guess it was.
It was was awesome.
This was the Dusty Rhodes Hard Times promo.
Basically.
It was the DDP Positively Times promo.
Disco Inferno versus Kidman.
I said well over a year ago that everybody remembers Disco being nothing but a comedy guy, but it's not true. It's a fake memory. It's the Berenstain Bears is what it is. This guy came out, he dances to the ring, he's got a disco ball that's like superimposed over him.
Pause right there. Have they been doing this for a while and I've never noticed?
No, this was the first time.
That
I
was
noticed.
awesome.
This is new.
He dances to the ring, he's got the thing superimposed, it's totally wacky, and then he gets in the ring, and as always, he has a straight babyface wrestling match with Kidman, and it was really good.
This was good. He's only been doing this serious gimmick.
No, you're imagining
No,
things.
you're imagining because you forgot about somebody getting hit with a disco ball.
One time! This guy's a serious wrestler.
Brian.
He's a grappler.
So they had a fun TV match. Disco won, and of course he can't do the stunner anymore because Beefcake stole it.
E. Harrison Leslie has stolen the stunner.
So he's doing a pile driver.
Boy, did he.
Yeah, it was a great pile
Drive
driver.
the fuck out of Kidman. And he gets the win, and Bobby Heenan says, that's the best I've seen Disco. And I said, you know what, Bobby, I agree. That was the best Disco match I ever saw. Jim Neidhart versus Kurt Hennig. This is after Hennig and Rude had handcuffed Davey Boy Smith to the ropes last week and attacked him. So Rude's at the announce desk, which is miles away from the ring. And Neidhart is beating the hell out of Hennig and pointing at the desk and screaming, "You, Rude!" over and
Oh
over.
my God. Neidhart said, "You rude," more than WWE said Ultimate Thrill Ride on Raw this week, which I didn't think was possible.
So he catches Hennig in a bear hug. Hennig is fucked. He waves for help. Rude comes running down to the ringside, shoves the ref down. Neidhart puts him in the bear hug, then Hennig cuts him off. They handcuff him to the ropes. Davey Boy Smith runs out to make the save. Brian Adams runs out to hit him with the worst pile driver ever, except all his other pile drivers, which are tied for the worst ever. And Bret Hart runs out, and for about a minute, he just beats up all three dudes. just kicks their ass.
Yeah, that's notable.
Yes.
Rick Rude can't take bumps because he's got a Lloyd's of London permanent disability policy. He's dead within a year. He was 255 pounds when he died. He was training for a comeback. He had clearly decided at this point in time, I'm going to wrestle again. He's in there. He's beating people up. He was even taking punches, and he was taking everything that you could possibly take without actually falling down.
Chris Benoit versus Booker T.
Can we talk about Doug Dillinger's spare key for random handcuffs?
Yeah, what's up with that?
He's always got a key.
He's got a skeleton
He's got a
key.
skeleton key for any pair of handcuffs.
in the world.
Man, that'd come in handy if I was a crook.
I'll tell you.
So Benoit versus Booker T. Benoit comes out in a Calgary Hitmen jersey, which is the minor league hockey team that Bret Hart owned at the time. And they actually plugged the Calgary Hitmen Swift Current Broncos matchup in the WHL playoffs, which has to be the best advertising in the history of the Western Hockey League.
Absolutely.
Millions of people around the world watching this show. And we're plugging the Swift Current Broncos.
This match felt... It felt like everything else on the show was a joke, and this was a real fight.
Well, yes.
I mean, surprise, Benoit was hitting hard in this one.
Yeah, he was... For about 10 minutes, it was nothing special. It was good, but it was nothing special.
It was only 10 minutes, Vince.
For 7 minutes,
Actually, it was only 9 minutes.
he's got a point.
They went a little longer
It-
than
it-
the last 10-minute draw. That was 7 minutes.
This was a 9-minute, 23-second time limit draw. I did go back and check after last week's fiasco. So the point is, the last 2 minutes were really awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I love about this is, let's pretend it's real. So last week, they had a match, and it went 10 minutes.
Sure.
No finish. So their plan was, let's just do it again.
Yep.
Okay? So
Yep.
now it's gone to a 10-minute time limit draw a second time. I wonder what they're going to do next week. Like, shouldn't they say, we're going to extend the time limit?
That would be a
I mean,
good idea.
shouldn't that be coming at some point here? I mean, it's pretty clear they can't get it done in 10 minutes.
If this is 2017 on Raw, they just do a no DQ match or a ladder match or something. Something totally unrelated to these time limit draws. Ultimo Dragon versus Psychosis.
Oh my God! Was this
This
the one?
may have...
This was horrible.
was watching Nitro in somewhere around this time as a teenager. Would have been, 18, 19 when this is going on. And no older than that. Anyway, I was watching this, and no one else in my family is a wrestling fan. But they let me have the TV Monday nights. And my sister happened to walk into the room it was definitely an Ultimo Dragon match. Probably this one. But after Benoit and Finlay and all the great wrestling that they did not see, they walked in on me watching this. And I was so embarrassed.
Dude.
They fucked up everything. Everything.
There was a point where
fell down at points, just not doing anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a point where Psychosis whipped him into the buckle. I don't know what happened, but Ultimo Dragon did a 360.
He's like a pirouette into the corner.
Yeah, he spun around and then fell back into the turnbuckle.
It was amazing because let's just say they did 20 spots. They fucked up 19 spots.
And a half.
Just like everything they fucked up. They fucked up a top rope drop kick. Like one guy jumps off the top rope and just has to hit the other guy. He still fucked it up. So after fucking up 19 moves, it's time for Psychosis to do a tope to the outside. And I'm like, you're the ballsiest fucker I've ever seen in my whole life. You fucked up every move, and now you're going to try a tope to the outside. You're going to presume, and they pulled it off.
Gotta get the crowd back, brother.
I have never seen a match that had so many fucked up spots.
With two great wrestlers.
But that's the point. It wasn't the worst match on the show.
No.
That's inconceivable. Like, how is that even possible?
So on top of all the shitty wrestling, it had a shitty finish. You see, last week, Psychosis legit broke Lodi's ankle. So the Flock's out for revenge, and they hit the ring and attacked for the DQ, and the Luchadors worked together to fight them off, and nobody cared about any of this. Had a new promotional idea to plug the website to get some clicks.
I got a promotional idea I'll talk about in a second.
This Friday at WCWWrestling.com, you can tune in to get an real audio stream of a card in Detroit. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
You could hear it.
Yes.
Oh, man. I always loved...
It streamed real well back then.
Oh, yeah. I always loved that everything WCW did was just some sort of fuck up. Like their website, it wasn't WCW.com. It was WCWWrestling.com.
Yeah.
That's fucking dumb.
Someone must have had WCW.com.
World Championship Wrestling.com. WCWWrestling.com. God. Now let's talk about Goldberg and Ray Traylor. Let's talk about the good news first. Every time Goldberg comes out, it's just mind-blowing how awesome the guy is. He's so green, and I hope he gets greener. Because he's so out of control and wild, and it's like a train wreck. He comes in here, man, he just steamrolls this guy, and the place goes nuts. No matter what he does, they go crazy, because he just looks like a wild animal in there,
it's like
mauling
Tasmanian
people.
devil.
So this is just absolutely amazing. The crowd, this got a bigger reaction than anything on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Stanley, how was this live? Just blew the roof off the place?
It was, like you said, it was intense because, I mean, you get watered down with the NWO. So, yeah, you see Kevin Nash, you see Hogan, you see, Vincent or whatever. So it kind of muddles together even with Hogan. But Goldberg was just like you said, it was just like this craziness because it's something new, it's something different. And it really was, as far back as I could remember, he really did get a super loud pop for sure, and it wasn't like anything else on the show.
Okay, now you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
This fucking guy has been around since the fall of the previous year, right? September?
Somewhere around there.
He's been around for like 8 months. He's super over. He was the most over guy on the whole show. They didn't have one piece of Goldberg merchandise yet.
That's dumb.
Yeah, that seems right.
What? Oh, they didn't have one shirt? They didn't sell his gloves? This guy had been around for 8 months or whatever. He's a few months away from, becoming champion. He beats Raven, and then they do the whole thing with Hogan eventually. But, I mean, how the fuck can you have no merchandise for Goldberg?
And as you guys always point out, owned by a multinational media company.
A multinational
off.
media corporation. They didn't have one piece of merchandise for Bill Goldberg. Jiminy Christmas.
All I can really add to this is that the reaction was so overwhelmingly loud. Ray Traylor, who had spent months in main events with Hulk Hogan at the absolute peak of Hulkamania, he was blown away by this. He could not stop looking at the crowd saying, look at these people. And then these two big mofos went right at each other and it was awesome. And Bubba hits a spine buster and Goldberg no-sells it and pops up and spears him to death and finishes him with a jackhammer. This was so awesome.
It was so great.
Finished Ray Traylor with the jackhammer.
Oh yeah, like it was nothing.
Yeah. The answers were even asking, can you get him up? And I was giggling. Of course he can. And he had no trouble.
Dude, he got Kevin Owens up. He's 50.
And this
Everything
is where
about Goldberg build was just so well. I mean, even the announcers who constantly screwed up during this whole period of WCW, it's like they snapped in lucidity for 2 minutes and figure out how to get a guy over. It's just awesome.
And this is where the show peaked, and the next two matches were the most boring thing I have witnessed in my lifespan. Possible.
Unless you like throwing garbage, flying garbage, then you're good to go.
Saturn, by the way, had tried to get at Goldberg, but Reese and Hammer had held him back.
Hold me back.
Please hold me back.
I do love how simple it is, too. Goldberg is going to go through all of these geeks in the flock.
Yeah.
Eventually, he's going to get to Raven.
By then, Raven will be U.S. champion.
Kill him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And then that sets up the...
There's only one prize left.
Yep.
Yep.
You know, it's funny. I remember always thinking, this company fucked up like everything. It's amazing they didn't fuck up Goldberg.
It is. It's
But
astonishing.
then, you know what? The more I watch Goldberg, it's like, it's not that astonishing. I mean, look at the guy. Who could have ever even conceived of beating this man?
Them.
I mean, they eventually
did.
They eventually
At certain
did,
point,
but
then,
man,
yeah.
like you'd have to be just the absolute biggest moron in the history of the earth to watch this show and think like anytime soon you should beat him.
And why did that surprise you then?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They were run by a crew of
He wrote
morons.
the book. Yeah.
Yeah, you did write a book.
I know it's just
Yeah.
it's more mind blowing the more I go back and watch it.
You had Kevin Nash and a mystery partner versus Sting and Lex Luger. So Michael Buffer's there doing intros.
He's always so
He
great.
introduces Nash, and Nash comes out, and it's a mystery partner. So Michael Buffer, he drops the mic, but he doesn't drop it all the way. So like at half volume, we just hear him ask, "Who's your partner?" As if he's got a stack of index cards with a big speech on the roster.
He does write his own apparently.
And Nash says, "Just bring the other guys out here." So out comes Sting and Lex. And as they are just about to hit the ring, Randy Savage zooms out. He wipes out Sting from behind and pile drives him on the floor. For the next hour or so, Randy Savage beat up Sting on the floor, and Nash beat up Lex in the ring. Fans did not boo Sting and Lex, but they were cheering Savage and Nash. And then when Sting finally made his comeback, they cheered for him too. And then Hogan came out and attacked Sting. Sting laid him out. Meanwhile, in the ring, with the ref distracted, Luger gets Nash up in the torture rack. Disciple hits the ring. He stuns Lex.
Stop. These two men have been in this business for well over a decade.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
If I were Stanley, this would have been worth my ticket price. To watch these two guys take an hour to set up a stone cold stunner. It took them forever.
It was something.
There's more.
There is.
E. Harrison Leslie begins to leave. And then remembers, oh, wait.
Oops. Something.
I'm
Sorry.
supposed to put Nash on top. So he runs back. He grabs Nash's hand. I don't know if he did this on purpose or not.
There's no way.
But
How can you be so clueless?
he put Nash's hand on Lex's dick.
Yep.
Yep.
He ran out of the ring. Ref turns around. It's a cover.
Yeah.
Certainly is.
That hand is definitely on that man. And he counts 3.
He did the hand job.
Did a job to the hand.
You ran right over my awesome joke, Craig, you fucker.
I thought people might not have gotten that.
That was funnier than mine.
Absolutely.
Get out of
It
here.
really wasn't, Craig. Just so you know. Oh, God. Meanwhile, in real life, someone threw a full cup of beer and it landed right on Nash's hand, which was on Lex's dick. So it was a wet hand job by the end.
Wow.
Yeah. And anyway, so Nash wins.
That freeze frame probably was something else.
Yeah. So let's see. What the hell happened then? Oh, Piper comes in out of nowhere. He starts brawling with Hogan, and they go to the back. They go to commercial. And they come back. Nothing happens for a while. And then eventually Piper comes out, still brawling with both Hogan and Disciple. Piper has no friends. Where was the Giant? Piper did this whole match 2-on-1.
This match was so hideous.
These two old men brawled slowly
They
all
weren't
over the place.
old. They were in their mid-40s. They were younger than Chris Jericho. They were younger than Chris Daniels. They were younger than Triple H. I could go on and on.
That doesn't mean they weren't old.
Oh my! You know what?
No one can watch this and not think these men are old.
When I mention those names, I mean it's like the guys today seem to be doing all right, and I don't even know how, because it's not like Roddy Piper was jumping off the top of fucking cages. It's not like Hulk Hogan was a high flyer. These dudes totally physically fell apart in their mid-40s. This was like two 90-year-olds having a match.
There wasn't one wrestling move in this match.
Maybe that's why they didn't botch
Well, at
anything.
the very, very end, there was a sleeper.
Okay.
But they had this horrible brawl with a Disciple interfering left and right. And then Piper hooks a sleeper, and the Disciple attacks for the DQ.
God.
After all of that.
Fuck you.
A shit ton of garbage hit the ring.
And in my living room.
Yes.
Dude. Stanley, tell me about this garbage throwing.
Oh, it's. I had never experienced anything like that before, and the closest I came, I saw Metallica at one of those concert halls with grass in the back, and there was some grass thrown. But I mean, you're just sitting there.
They threw grass?
You know how much garbage is thrown.
Yeah, usually in
people are
blood
throwing it
form.
from the upper deck. They're not making the ring, so a lot of that stuff's hitting people in the lower deck. It was something else. They did not throw garbage at the Glow show. I can tell you that much, Vinny.
What did they throw?
Grass.
Don't answer that.
Was grass at a
I was too
concert?
young.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So Nash comes out. He holds his hands up to Hogan like a sign of peace, like I'm here to help. And his idea is, I'll hold Piper and you punch him.
This was ridiculous.
So he's got Piper's head. Now, in a best case scenario, Piper is of average height for a pro wrestler, and Nash is a giant. So even if Piper was standing straight, Nash's head would have been a foot higher. But Piper wasn't even standing up straight. So his head's like at Nash's belly level. So Hogan goes to throw a punch, and Piper dodges, and Hogan hits Nash in the face. But if Piper had not moved, Hogan would have hit him in the face anyway. And I'm watching this, trying to figure out, did they fuck that up, or was Hogan just going to punch Nash in the face? And to this day, I still don't know.
Well, luckily, based on the storyline, you could believe either one.
Yeah. So Giant finally arrives, and the NWO leaves to bicker on the floor, and that show ended, thank goodness.
I mean, at least Piper could have, like, dropped down for a jaw jacker, and then Nash would have bent over, and then he would have got punched.
Something!
That didn't happen.
This is bad.
Hogan was aiming for his face, and then he hit it.
So right now, Raw has got some great interviews, and they've got Steve Austin and Vince McMahon, but both shows are terrible right now. And they're both doing monster business.
Yes.
It's just well, Nitro is. Raw's on its way to doing monster business, but mind-blowing. And that's the Nitro show, everybody. Stanley, let's get some plugs in here. What do you got to plug? Anything?
No, I got nothing to plug, guys. Just everyone go donate to Whale Scout if you got some extra money. This was a great experience, guys, and I hope I did you guys proud. I hope the people on the board take it easy on me. And this really was a thrill, guys. Just want to sum up saying that. I was happy to donate to a good cause for it, too.
You did an excellent job here. The streak of great guest hosts continues. We have not had a bad one yet. Fine work, Stanley. No Twitter or anything like that? Nothing? No social media? That's the big thing today.
Nothing exciting. It would just be me liking your guys' tweets and asking Dave questions. No one needs to see that.
All right. Follow at Stanley's new phone on Twitter.
That's right.
That'll be on there
the
tomorrow.
latest.
I'll go claim that tonight.
That's right. Go grab that one. All right, everybody. We're going to wrap it up. We'll be back on Thursday
Brian.
with... Oh, Craig's got something to say.
Yeah.
Stand by.
Apologize for interrupting the ending here. As you know, WrestleMania's this weekend, and a bunch of people from the site are going down there. Unfortunately, a member that, he put in for his time off, and it was denied yesterday. The kid's already bought his bus tickets. He's already bought his plane ticket. He already bought his WrestleMania ticket. And Ed, believe it or not, out of the kindness of his heart, is trying to recoup some of this guy's cash because he can't go now. So if you're looking for a bus ride to WrestleMania or whatever, contact Ed at f4wfan@hotmail.com and see if we can get some of this guy's cash back to him.
Stan, Vinny? No interest?
Nope, I got
no, thank
to...
you.
No, I'm going to the White Sox opener Monday, so can't make it.
Oh, man.
I actually am going to a Western Hockey League playoff game this weekend.
Look at you guys.
Did they plug it on Raw this week?
I don't believe they plugged the Seattle Thunderbirds versus Tri-City Americans it'll be game 4 matchup. I haven't watched it yet, to be fair. Maybe it's on Hulu.
You know, I don't follow sports at all, but I've at least heard of a lot of teams. Like, there are not a lot of teams I haven't at least heard of. The fucking Tri-City what?
Americans. Yes.
Tri-City Americans?
The most American city in the world, Richland and Pasco and Kennewick.
Oh, my God.
It's not a real NHL team, so.
It's essentially a hockey indie.
Oh,
It's just
God.
very, very minor league.
All right. Well, that's it, everybody.
I will throw one quick plug in. I have no financial stake in it, but if anyone's in Chicago, check out Freelance Wrestling. Well-run promotion, good guys, and always a fun time.
Who are the stars?
Well, right now it is, you will see a space monkey there.
I'm in.
Vinny's going there now.
Robert Anthony, formerly El Egotistico Fantastico, is there. Ethan Page shows up. GPA is the champ. Heidi Lovelace was known to go there. Mustafa Ali's home promotion.
Wow.
It's a really good time, well-run promotion.
Well, there you go. You got a plug in there at the end. All right. Well, check it out, everybody. And that is it from here. We'll talk to you again after a while.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.